Okay, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, welcome back, guys, to another weekly tech talk. So, here we have our friend Muhammad Mas from Pakistan, right? So, in this time, we are bring a topic about React, and you can introduce yourself first, Mas, and after that, you can just go through the material. So, the time and place is yours.
Okay, okay. So, actually, I am Mohammed Maz from 10 RPL here from IDN Boarding School. Here, going to introduce you with a very interesting uh, thing, and yeah, let's just get started. Now, you might have used HTML, you might have used CSS or JavaScript. Now, I've been taking those ideas so far for this week, and I am just building onto them, showing you some additional features, some more advanced capabilities, building some more sophisticated applications. Now, today we are really going to introduce something entirely new, and that is being React, which is JavaScript library built by Facebook. And not from me, actually. It's not a framework, it's a library from built by Facebook, which is designed to make it very easy to build interactive and dynamic user interfaces. And React is going to be a totally different way of thinking about how to build web applications and how to build user interfaces. And we'll go through a bunch of examples to give you a sense for how this works, how to think in React, and ultimately how to program in React. Now it will give you a very great flexibility, that it will give you very flexibility to build very interactive user interfaces for your website, and as well as for your mobile, actually. So you can use React Native for that. And so React has a couple of key concepts, and React has a couple of key concepts, a couple of key ideas we want to be thinking about, actually. And the first of those ideas is that React is a declarative way of programming. And so, thus far, in most of what we have done in you have done maybe in like coding in vanilla CSS, JavaScript, HTML, and in programming more generally, we've been doing what you might call you've been doing what you might call imperative programming. Now, in imperative programming, we write code that tells the web applications what to do. We want to insert this thing into the web page. We want to manipulate the web page in this particular way, in this individual way. But whereas imperative programming is a model where we say this is what we want the web application to do, and whereas declarative programming is a style of programming where we say this is what we want the web application to look like. This is how the application should look, and we are going to let React take care of figuring out what the application should do in order to make the application look like the way that we want to look. And that is very simple. You'll get used to React, and I hope you'll enjoy learning and diving more into React. Now, so that's the idea of declarative programming. And in order to achieve that goal, there are a number of tools that React is going to use. The first of which is that instead of using JavaScript, it is going to use a slight extension to JavaScript, a variant on JavaScript that has a few more features called JSX or JavaScript X. And the idea of JavaScript X is JSX. JSX is, whereas in JavaScript we have a whole bunch of different types of values. We have integers, we have strings, we even have functions and arrays, and so forth. In JSX, we can treat each HTML elements as values of their own. Well, let's see. So in JSX, you might see code that looks something like this. Yeah, something like this. Yeah, cons some variable name foo in this case equals and then an h1 block, for instance. Now, like HTML code, that can be a value in JavaScript that we can assign to a variable that we can loop over at some point, potentially, that we can do calculations and computations on. This sort of code is common in JSX and has some special meanings. Now, so that's something that we will see in React in just a moment. So in order to make this work, there are a couple of libraries that we're going to need. I'll just briefly describe what they are, and then we'll actually start using them. Now, React is going to be the library that's going to actually allow us to do the building of these user interfaces. And there's a separate but related library called React DOM that's going to take care of taking the React components that we create, more on components in just a moment, and actually inserting them into the web page into the DOM, the document object model, and then finally we are going to be using a package called Babel, and we are using this because most web browser, in fact, all of our modern web browser don't understand JSX natively. Now, so code that looks like this, Chrome and Safari don't normally know how to understand JSX code natively. Now, so what we need to do is translate this sort of code into regular JavaScript code that our browsers can understand easily. And Babel is going to take care of doing that translation part for us, such that the browser can easily understand the code that we are using. So in a moment, in our HTML pages, in the head section where we might include JavaScript, we are going to be including a whole bunch of scripts, one for React, one for React DOM, and one for Babel. You can just copy these scripts and put them at the top of your HTML page, and you will see in a moment how that will eventually become useful. Now you can copy these scripts into your HTML page, so we can start building our very own React first web page. Now, so all of React is really designed around this idea of components. When we are when we are going to think about our web applications, we're going to try and divide the application into the components that make it up, and then start to analyze how is that component going to behave. And a component is going to end up looking a little something like this. And if we wanted a component that was just going to say hello, we're going to define a class called hello in JavaScript and extends React component. And it is just basically saying that this hello class is a React component. And what do we do from there? Well, each React component needs to have some notion of what does it look like when I render this component to the screen. When I try and take this component and display it on my web page, what should show up? Declaratively, what is going to show up on the page? And so every component is going to need a render function. So this component and that render function is just going to describe what it is that this component looks like. And in this case, this hello component, very simply inside of its render function, is just going to return a JSX element from HTML like code, that it's just a heading that in this case says that hello. Okay, so we have defined a React component. This is our very first React component, and all it does is display an h1 tag. So I'll show you that right now. So we'll actually build our very first React application. So I let me just share you my screen. Actually, just a moment. I'll share you my screen. Okay, let me see. How can I? I want to. Share. Now I will show you. Okay. Okay, now as you can see, my screen is being shown here, and let's just start doing some code. Now, as you can see here, of I have I have already including these scripts, and these are, let me just comment it out for you so it can be more, you know. Now let's see, scripts, uh, libraries that we're going to need actually. Now let me just name this document. Let's just say hello, for instance. and what I'll do is, okay, now first I'll create an div with an ID of what is it, app. Now here I'll define a script tag script, and but with before going and writing my own React component, I would first say that the type of this script is text babel. So okay, now let's make our very first component. Okay, class hello extends react dot component. Okay, here now, as I already have mentioned, that we would need a some kind of a render method to display what we are going to, what we want to. So here I'll use this method, and I'll ultimately return a h1 tag that is just saying hello. And here I'll just put a semicolon for it, for okay. Okay, so here that's our very first step. So that's all we're going to need. Now, as we've already added JavaScript code, so this is JSX. Now this is, now let me go and do it. Now the next step and the really last step of building this particular application is just saying I actually want to render this component on the screen. And in order to do that, we're going to use React DOM, which is that library that lets us take React components and put them into the DOM into our page. And we're going to say uh, React uh, let me see, React DOM dot render hello. So now you see that we can use this hello component we on the, and now we're going to use, which is the library that takes us like put an interval. We're going to say react dot render, and now this function react dom dot render takes two arguments, and the first argument is what is the component that we want to render, and the component we want to render is hello. Now you can see that we are treating it as hello, and like you would treat any other element, HTML element, for example. Now I'm just going to say hello as though it were an HTML tag like div or h1 or some other tag, because I have defined it as a component, and so now I can just say I want to render the HTML component in my page. Now, but here is a question: where do I want to render it? Now, and where on the page do I want to render it? Well, I want to render it in here. In other words, uh, here actually. So what I will do is, if I want to get that particular part of the page, I can just say um, I use document.query selector with the hashtag ID app, and that will insert this component, ultimately replace it with ID app there here. Yeah. Okay. Now I'll show you that what it looks like assuming this all works, and then we'll go back to the code again. First let me just open uh, let's see how I can open it. Let me first save the file, and okay, I will open it. um, Hello. Now you see this, let me just be more clear about it. Okay, in a moment I'll going to show you. Just let me share you the screen for now, and just a minute. Present. Now let me see how would I present it. Now for now I will just stop that screen and present you the other one Here I'll open a new com tab. Just a moment. Okay, it is taking a bit more time actually. Okay, okay, share screen. Windows. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Now, as you can see here, I guess no. Stop screen. Just a moment. Yeah, screen. Okay. Now, as you can see that I have an hello displaying. Now, I'll go back to my code and now now let's see what happens now. Now it simply displays that as an h1 tag, and that we the way it did that is because I took this hello component and rendered it into the DOM. So in 28 lines of code, we've defined our very first React applications. Now, if you have any questions, you can simply ask. Now, all right. So let's move on a little bit and look at some more things that we can do here. Let's see. Let's just build an application that might. So, okay. For example, I want to say hello to a particular person. Let's see how would I do that. I will first. What I do is first I'll open my screen and I'll show you my. Okay. And let's see. Now, for now, I'll make an app component that will eventually extend React, that will also have an render method that is going to return a hello component. Now, what what I want to do is I want to pass a some name to this component that it will say hello to. So the name will be for now maybe I guess Krishna, and there are let me copy and paste it for a few lines. Okay, I'll just wrap it in a div so we don't have any problem. Okay, now here I'll change the name. I guess let's say Andrew. Here I will say John. Here I'd say Paul. Here, let's say Mark. Okay, now for now I won't render hello. I would use my app component there. Okay, now here, now this thing that I am passing, it is called props in React. So now I can access my props here as follows. I would use curly brace to do any kind of JavaScript thing, and what I would do is this dot props dot name. And yeah, now you'll be probably confused about what is the keyword this. Now this means the class. This class is this keyword means that I am referring to this class, and to go to this class use this properties props. Now name, this name is stored in this prop subject, and I'm accessing it here by calling the same name that I defined here, name. Now let's see if it works or not. Now what I would do is I will stop the screen and I'll present you the other one. Okay, okay, let's see. Okay, now as you can see, but still it's not. Let me reload it. Okay, let's reload it, and it's taken up. Okay, we have our five names that we're saying hello to. Now that's a very simple thing that you can. Now you see that React is very powerful in many ways that you can take advantage to. Now there was a very simple demo to show you how the things are working here. Now first I'll probably show you first now I'm going to show you some advantage that why should be using React. Now the first and the foremost point is that that React is a popular JavaScript library for. Okay, I guess that it's component-based architecture and it has virtual DOM, declarative syntax, and it introduces you to a new concept JavaScript XML for short X, and it has ecosystem and community actually. So it's a very popular library that you can use, and it is very flexible for you. And I would highly recommend to start uh, with React. Now, I guess that's all that I wanted to share you with about React. And yeah, for now, that's all. And I hope you got a view of React, how things works in React, and that was a very basic understanding of the things of React. But that was just a starting and a little simple tutorial for you. And yeah, I guess okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. That's all what I wanted to share you.
Okay, maybe it's all about the material, right, Miss? It's all of your
Yeah.
material plan. And so, okay, guys, maybe that's all from us. Thank you very much from us with the, maybe I could say it's very useful for us. And thank you very much, guys, for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. So that's all from us. In the name of IDN, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.